Hi, Diana. Hope you like the music.
very dramatic music.
Feel like we're going to be in a movie.
Yeah. Usually it's the elevator. This is epic.
A dramatic elevator. Everyone, we'll wait a few minutes here before we get started. Was everyone's Labor Day weekend good?
Mm-hmm.
No laboring, hopefully.
I labored in my garage.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't count.
Found some all kinds of treasure.
There you
It's a little interesting with the age of the property that's in the family, with the regularity that we run across things that are now 100 years or older.
Mm.
Cecil, can you enable screen sharing, please?
Will do. Just give me a moment.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, one person's trash is another person's treasure, right?
Yeah, but finding the people who consider it treasure is the hard part.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh boy, especially on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or what have you.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Beautiful. That's up.
Hi, Margarita. Hi, Diana.
Hi. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Hopefully we've gotten that all straightened out.
Yeah, I hope so. It turned out part of the problem was my computer system was actually getting so hot it was causing it to fail.
Mm.
So, in fact, not only that, but recently did an upgrade with Comcast on my home internet modem, and man, that thing's been buggy.
Sorry.
Oh,
We'll get started. I think we are just missing Commissioner Dooley, and we have a very exciting meeting because we have 2 new commissioners to welcome. But let me start the meeting by stating the special meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Brown Act and the Governor's Executive Order N2920 to facilitate teleconferencing and reduce the risk of COVID-19. We want to call to order and do a roll call?
yes. Commissioner Yoshikawa,
Here.
Commissioner Brocker,
Here.
Commissioner Fields,
Here.
Commissioner Dooley, Commissioner Malcolm,
Here.
Commissioner Naylor Coda Martori.
Naylor works, that's fine.
Okay. And Chairperson Kaufman.
Here. Okay, well, let's start with announcements and welcome new commissioners, Heather Malcolm and Jenna Naylor. We are very excited to have you both. As I mentioned during orientation, they have excellent experience that I think is going to really help the Civic Improvement Commission.
Thank you.
Welcome. Would you like to, can I welcome each of you to say something about yourselves and introduce yourself to your fellow commissioners now? And
Sure, I'll go first. I've lived in Campbell almost 10 years. I love this city. We live near downtown. I am in education. It's my 17th year, I think. I've taught all sorts of grades, and now I'm an assistant principal at a K-8 school in San Jose, but it serves in Moreland School District, which serves some Campbell, some San Jose, and some Saratoga students. So I kind of live and work very close to where I live, and I'm in the community. So I'm excited to be a part of this.
Great.
And I've also lived in Campbell for 10 years, and I trained as a librarian. But then when my daughter was born, I've been home since then, which has been very nice. And yeah, I'm just really excited to start doing this and see what it's all about. And yeah. So.
Great. Well, welcome. We are super excited to have you both. You have some big shoes to fill, but I know you'll be able to fill in nicely. So I appreciate you guys putting in your applications, and really happy that you both will be joining us. And one of these days we will get to meet in person and actually have a real meeting at City Hall and do it like it's supposed to be done.
Is there any update on that, by the way?
I'll share that when I get to my staff report, but tiny bit of an update. It's a moving timeline. So
Okay.
I'll share whatever the current timeline is.
A fluid situation.
Mhm.
Why don't we move to approval of the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
And I'll second. Oh. Somebody beat me.
Okay, so I'm sorry, who's second?
I think it was Commissioner Brocker.
Oh, okay. I was trying to unmute myself.
Oh.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Yoshikawa,
Aye.
Commissioner Brocker,
Aye.
Commissioner Fields,
Aye.
Commissioner Dooley, Commissioner Malcolm,
Aye.
Commissioner Naylor, and Chairperson Kaufman.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to communications.
None received.
Okay, oral requests.
None received, and I see nobody else online with us.
Okay. Let's move then to reports from representatives. Carrie Perkins.
All right. Well, good evening, commissioners, new commissioners, and Chairperson Kaufman. Thank you for having me. It seems like I haven't been on a Zoom meeting with you all in a long time, so forgive me if my report is a little bit lengthy. Just a little bit for the new commissioners. My name is Carrie Perkins. I am the supervisor of the Campbell Museums, and we consist of two different museum facilities. So we've got the historic Ainsley House, as well as the historical museum, which is Firehouse Number 1, which was the first building in the city of Campbell. So on that note, talking about whether or not our museums are open to the public, we just reopened the Ainsley House for tours in July, which is going okay. You know, we have a trickle of people coming for tours. I did have a major reduction in volunteers, and so I'm doing a big push for new greeters and docents. I'm starting a new docent training end of September. So the good news is that there have been a lot of people willing to come join us, even though COVID is still a part of our lives. We did reduce our public hours slightly just to try to accommodate those docents and greeters, and the docents give the guided tours, and the greeters are the volunteers who take admission. And we also have a store as part of our Ainsley House, and they help run the store register. So our hours right now are Friday through Sunday, 11 to 3. I will say on that note, there are some days where we just don't have volunteers available to keep the site open, but we're working on it. So, it's a slow go, but we will get there. We have limited our amount of people on a tour just to make sure that the public feels safe coming back, as well as our docents who do have to lead the tours inside the Ainsley house feel safe with a smaller amount of people. And of course, masks are required. Our historical museum, which is our one-room exhibit hall, that remains closed. So in May and June, we suffered not one, but 2 flooding incidents. So believe it or not, yeah, it's been a really hard summer. And due to the flooding, we've got asbestos flooring that needs to be remediated. So our collection specialist office is absolutely closed off. She can't work in it. So that is going to get remediated, hopefully next week, possibly, as well as a small section of our collection storage space. So right now, everything has been cleared out of those areas and sitting in the exhibit hall. So it's a little hard as somebody who has worked there for almost 18 years to see the space like that. It's a little emotional, looks a little bit like a hoarder. But hopefully once, we get things solved, we can put things back in a nice orderly way, maybe even kind of pack things and then reopen to the public. My goal would be winter. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. Meanwhile, though, we pivoted pretty quickly with COVID to virtual programming. So that's been actually a really good thing for us. And so we are rounding out 2021 with what I think are some 4 great virtual Zoom programs. We've got this coming Monday on September 13th, the history of Mount Almaden radar station. So if you're wondering what that big box on the top of Mount is, join us on Zoom. So Bassem Jabber, who is the co-founder of the Mount Conservancy, is back by popular demand. He has spoken to our museum audience before. He has taken some amazing helicopter photos of Mount and has some interviews with many of the Air Force Station members who lived and worked there during the Cold War. So it's really fascinating. On September 17th, we have a historian and former ranger who served on Alcatraz, talking about the history of Alcatraz Island. So another iconic place in the Bay Area, which should be really interesting. And then on October 4th, we're kind of switching gears from a history topic to a science topic. And we've got a research scientist from NASA Ames who is going to talk about the Sofia mission. And this is a mission that is run out of NASA Ames, so close to our home. And they fly a Boeing jet around the stratosphere, picking up water on the moon. It is amazing if you look into what they've accomplished. It is crazy that we can do this. And I am so looking forward to hearing Dr. Randolph Klein explain how it is done. And then on October 8th, our last and final Zoom program for 2021 will be with author and historian Tony Fells on why the Salem witch hunt still matters today. So kind of a little playing, into the October Halloween. But what I love about our Zoom programs is that we get people from all over the country. And Tony is coming to us live from Philadelphia. We have people from different parts of the country, Boston, who have joined and listened to our Zoom programs. It allows me to get different types of speakers because I used to just have to rely on people who would be available to come to Campbell and speak to our museum group. So Zoom has been wonderful in that sense. But we do have live events happening. So we started our jazz concert series 2 weeks ago. We have a series of 4 concerts. We've got 3 more coming. September 19th coming up, we've got Amy Dabalos. She is a fantastic jazz soul world singer. She's a little bit like Ella Fitzgerald. All of our Zoom programs and the concerts, tickets can be found on campbellmuseums.com. But the live concert we had 2 weeks ago was phenomenal. It was just open air. People were feeling good. We had wine donated from Water Tower Kitchen. We had great light snacks. People wore masks in line. Some wore masks sitting outside. We allowed people to spread out in the garden. even though it was 90 degrees and the air the day prior was, a spare the air day where everything was canceled because it was 100 degrees and terrible air, people still came out and the music was fantastic. So I expect nothing less of the remaining 3 concerts. They're all very accomplished artists. They've played at the Ainsley House before. The Hot Club of San Francisco is probably going to sell out, even though that's during Oktoberfest weekend. They're a gypsy swing band. Already, they're just booking like crazy. And then on November 14th, hopefully the weather holds. I do want rain, but I'd also love to have the program. We've got Ren Geisick, who is fantastic. And she is just a beautiful songstress. She's local from Los Gatos and just amazing. So I encourage you to come join. If you want to volunteer and get a free seat, we need help setting up chairs and tables. But if you want to join, just come and enjoy the wine and food and music. Visit campbellmuseums.com. We're working on a bunch of different exhibits at the both museums. So currently on exhibit in the Carriage House, we've got a really sweet exhibit. I encourage you to drop by. You don't have to go on a tour. You can come inside the Carriage House. It's called Art in Our World. It is student art from the Campbell Union School District. And so Art in Our World is a nonprofit that partners with Title I schools. And they ran a summer art program. And the art that we have are prints from students who are K through 2nd grade. And they are amazing. They're colorful. Some of the students were working through some trauma. They can't help but make you feel good when you walk in the Carriage House. And so we're trying to partner with the economic development specialist from Campbell to see if we can get the more of the art prints from Art in Our World into some of the empty downtown storefronts while they're empty, and just kind of, it really just does help make you feel good when you see these works of art by, and these are young K through 2nd graders. These are kids going into kindergarten and going into 1st and 2nd grade. So they're on the really young spectrum, but beautiful work. Winter of 2022, we are going to be opening our Muwekma Ohlone exhibit. So we are in year 3 of a 5-year loan with the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. We did have an exhibit at the Ainsley House right before COVID hit, and we just haven't been able to get another exhibit up. So we're hoping to get this exhibit up. It won't have all of the artifacts that we have on loan from them. Most of the artifacts are very delicate. We're talking some artifacts that go back 1,000 years, like bird flute whistles and abalone jewelry, just amazing pieces that were handmade, obviously by a very complex society. So we will have that exhibit up and then hopefully extend our loan, but also give back a number of the pieces that we're not using so that the Ohlone tribe can loan them out to other institutions as well. And then in the spring of 2022, we're partnering again with the Campbell Union School District, and we are hosting a student-led exhibit. So this year, the Campbell Union School District turns 100. So I'm working with them on their centennial celebration, and it will culminate in a student-led exhibit in the Carriage House, where K through 8 students will create an exhibit based on education in the past, education in the present, and then education in the future. And so we're kind of building monthly on what that will look like in the design process. So I think it's really fun. We're not doing field trips right now, and it allows me to work with the district in an education way, but I look forward to see what the kids come up with as well. That will exhibit will be on exhibit April 30th through the middle of June. And the Carriage House is free for people to come in. They don't have to go on a tour. So students and families can come look at their work. And then in the summer of 2022, we're going to open our biannual Campbell Juried Art Show. And we've got categories in 2D and 3D works, as well as youth and adult categories. And our theme this year is reflection. So I think that's kind of appropriate for what we've all been through. Upcoming events, we are looking forward to going through with the holidays. I don't know what that will exactly look like, but we are going to decorate the Ainsley House. We will open with the Ainsley House decorated. The theme this year is Joys of the Season, November 18th through the December 19th. We are going to have our holiday boutique, which is a great place to shop if you'd like some boutique holiday items inside the Ainsley House and the Carriage House. We're going to have photos with Santa. So we do have a wonderful Santa who will take photos outside with children on December 4th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we are looking into ways that we can host our holiday teas, whether that's an outside covered area. We're just waiting to see kind of what direction we can get from the county health department. And then is it feasible and is it worthwhile to do? But we will have our evening events as well. We usually have 2 evening events through the Ainsley House, but we'll have limited admission per time period, and those will be late December and live music. And we always have wine because people come when there's wine. We've done really well with weddings this season. We are up to 23 weddings in the Ainsley House Garden this season. That is double what we've always done. So clearly there is a demand for not only people who put off their weddings, but outdoor weddings. We've even extended our season into November, just banking on the fact that there's not going to be rain, but we do let people know that we don't have an alternative if there is inclement weather. So you rent at your own risk, but people are willing to take that risk right now. And then going forward, we are going to work with Public Works and the landscaping crew, just in terms of as the city moves forward with their tier, I think they're in tier 3 with the watering schedule and the drought. We need to rethink some of the plantings that are in the Ainsley House Garden and probably plan for more drought tolerant plants. We're having a number of plants die, and I don't know if that's a watering issue or they've just lived their cycle. And so just kind of rethinking what we have in the garden, and does it make sense where we are now in California to have an English style garden? It's not necessarily historic anymore because we've done so many changes, but we do want to have a garden, but we also want to make sure that we are not, using up all the water as well. So that'll be an ongoing conversation. We've been very fortunate throughout COVID. People have been emptying out, like you were talking about, Chris Bracker, their places. They've been coming across a lot of stuff, hundreds years old or more, and we've been the recipients of it. Some things we have had to turn down just because we do not have the space or the storage, or we might already have an item or two, but we've been very grateful for those community members who do think of the museum in terms of donating items, whether they are high school memorabilia or photographs, or we've had some great donations from the Copper Kettle Donut Shop, which was in downtown Campbell years ago. Very fun. Our museum board completely refurbished our carriage house, our bridal suite. I will try to provide a PowerPoint with photos next time I come. I was not prepared, I apologize, but it looks amazing. If you're ever in the carriage house and you need a place to rest, I guarantee you're going to want to go to the bridal suite upstairs. It is phenomenal. They did a fabulous job. It has actually really helped seal the deal for a number of rentals, even though people don't know what the before looks like. They see what it looks like now, and they want to spend their time while they're getting dressed for their wedding or their event up there. So really grateful for the foundation board. They also donated $5,000 to help cover part-time staffing, which has been great because we had all of our part-time staff reduced at the museum due to economic reductions with the city. And so helping to fund some of the part-time staffing has been amazing to help with weddings. And then we are going to be rolling out a new cloud-based membership system soon with the foundation. And then they're also funding the Mural exhibit. So I definitely need to thank them for that. And then, believe it or not, I was shocked. I thought people would not want to be going on field trips this early in the school year, but I have been getting some calls about field trips. Those schools who maybe don't need to take buses on a field trip, private schools. So I am just taking names and numbers right now, and I said I would reevaluate in spring and see where we're at. One thing is we're not prepared. Obviously, the Historical Museum is closed. I do not have any program staff, and I certainly do not want to have COVID issues arise from 48 students coming into a small space. So there is some concern there, but I am pleased that people still remember us when they're doing their lesson planning and want some social studies field trip experience. And that is my report.
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
So on things that get donated, if the only consideration in turning it away is space, and it's something maybe, oversized, but something you guys would really like to have, keep me in mind, because I got plenty of space at the farm.
I would love to talk to you offline about agricultural equipment that we need to move out of an area. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Mike Katowski and I used to have an ongoing conversation about that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll also have to talk to Randy, the code enforcement guy, to make sure he understands that it belongs to the city and it's not me acquiring a bunch of stuff.
And I'm happy to write something up as well. Yes. But yeah, definitely. I will get in touch with you, Chris. Thank you also for the offer. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I may have to have you guys come by the farm to see if there's anything you want me to set aside for you that you don't want me getting rid of.
I would love that. That would be fun. Thank you.
So yeah, because the house is, let me think. The house turned 96 this year.
Oh, wow. Okay. And it's the original farmhouse. So,
yeah.
Well, that would be like, my little mini Disneyland. So I would love to walk through that. That would be really fun. Thank you.
Sure.
Mission. You got a lot going on, Carrie. Anybody have any questions, comments for Carrie? Great job as usual. Quick question on the outdoor events, museum events, in terms of the musicians. I assume you can pay at the door if you want to just walk up, right? You have to pay online.
You can. I recommend reserving a spot only because the one we had 2 weeks ago, we were sold out.
Okay.
But then we did have people who didn't show up, probably because of the air quality. So I did let walk-ins, but it's kind of, I have to keep them on hold. And the reason why I ask people to make reservation ahead of time too, is because when we set up the chairs, I try to plan for a way that if people don't want to sit so close to someone, they can space out in the garden and feel a little more comfortable. Even though we do set canopies up to cover it, I just want to make sure that everybody feels safe. And I'm not running, a super spreader event or something. So,
That's understandable.
Yeah, but we would love to have you. If you want me to set aside, you could text me and I could always, set aside some seats for you. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. For me personally, it depends on a lot of my kids' schedule, so I just don't know till the last minute.
I completely understand. Yeah.
Those are on Sundays, right, Carrie?
They're all on Sundays. The music starts at 2, but we open up the garden at 1:30, and that's when we start serving the food and the wine. And it does take a little bit of time to get the appetizers and the wine because we have to serve per county code for the health department. So, and then we want everybody to space out in line. So it starts moving a little slow, but everybody's there having a good time.
And do people bring in outside food as well, or is it only, okay?
No, I'm open, I wouldn't say bring a meal, but if somebody has food that they're interested in eating, that's okay by me, not a problem. We're trying to have a very casual, fun community event, and a safe event as well. So.
And you guys provide, you set up all the chairs and everything. So it's not like music in the park where you bring your own chair or blanket.
Yep, we provide all the chairs, as much shade as possible. I even have disposable masks and sunscreen for people who need it. So, and water, of course, and non-alcoholic beverages as well. So, yeah.
Right. What haven't you thought of?
Been doing this a long time, Davis. And I'm a mom. I always got this done with me, right? Yeah.
Carrie, one other quick question. If somebody wants to volunteer for the events, is there a link on the webpage, or?
You would just contact me.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So yeah, just it's all me arranging it. So you could just email me or have them email me, and I'm assuming you have my email. If you go to any of our forms on the website to sign up or inquire about anything, it all comes to me anyway.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions for Carrie? Great job as usual. Thank you, Carrie. Why don't we move to Tina Wong Erling, Senior Services Supervisor.
Morning, good morning, good after, oh my
Not
gosh.
quite.
Good evening, Chairperson Kaufman and members of the Civic Improvement Commission. Welcome to the new commissioners. So for their benefit, again, Tina Wong Erling, Senior Services Supervisor. I supervise the 50+ older adult programs within the city, and we offer a variety of recreational programs that includes classes, not so much right now, but trips, special events. We also have social service type programs, such as our senior nutrition lunch program. We offer a lot of information and referral for seniors and their family members. And to the new commissioners, if you'd like to, down the road, I realize right now with COVID, it's not the best opportunity, but I'd like the opportunity to sit down with you and share, what the 50+ program offers. We're a little slim in staff, and that was due to a planned retirement that happened during the shutdown. So because of limited staff, we're probably operating 30 to 40% of where we were pre-COVID. But nonetheless, we are offering virtual classes as well as some in person. We've started bringing those indoors. But this evening, what I'd like to highlight is really an event that was included in my report. It is the 11th annual Caregivers Count Conference. And again, for the benefit of the newer commissioners, I'd like to tell you about the event. So this is an event that is geared towards helping and supporting family caregivers of older adults. You can only imagine the burden and the stress that a caregiver goes through in taking care of an older adult that has physical, cognitive, or both types of impairment. And for 11 consecutive years, the Caregivers Count Conference team, which is comprised of professionals in the aging sector throughout the Bay Area, basically Santa Clara County, all the way to San Francisco County, plans this event that used to be in person prior to last year, and for a number of years, it was held at the Orchard City Banquet Hall at the Community Center. But last year we did shift to a virtual program because of the circumstances. But I'm here to promote the event, which is a multi-day, actually 4 consecutive Saturdays, beginning this Saturday, September 11th. And we have a great lineup of speakers and topics. Starting on 9/11, we have a speaker that will be presenting her background on self-care, having been a caregiver herself. And that's such an important part of the caregiver experience, is to take care of oneself. That enables you to continue doing the hard work for your loved one. The second session, which will be held on September 18th, is caring for someone with mental illness. This includes depression, anxiety. This just often compounds the caregiving responsibilities. Then the third week, on September 25th, we have a presenter that will talk about advanced care planning. This probably pertains to all of our caregivers and really a number of us to express our wishes in advance in the event that someone is unable to do so. And we have a great speaker from Mission Hospice that will be presenting on that topic. And finally, on October 2nd, we have a topic called Adult Daycare Reimagined. And we have 2 executive directors from 2 adult daycare centers that will talk about their adult day programs and really introduce the concept, as well as talk about the different adult daycares available throughout the Bay Area and broader counties. So we have a great program lined up, and I just wanted to give you some statistics. Nearly 4.5 million unpaid family caregivers in our state of California provide an estimated $58 billion in informal care that their loved ones need to remain at home for as long as possible. Often working tirelessly, alone and unrecognized, these caregivers need support to prolong their ongoing caregiver activities and to ensure their own mental and physical health stays intact while coping with related challenges. So this is something very near and close to my heart, having been a caregiver myself. It's almost been 20 years now, but it's an experience I will never forget, and I will forever be sympathetic and empathetic to other caregivers out there. So if you know of someone, or if you may be in this very predicament yourself, please share with them. This is a free event. Registration is required so that we can send out the Zoom links. After the various presentations, we will be uploading the conference videos on our website, which is caregiverscount.net. And I appreciate any referrals that you can offer to any community members that you know, whether they're related, whether it's your neighbor that's taking care of a loved one. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the conference.
Thank you, Tina. Doing a lot of important work. Any questions?
Yeah, Tina, on the it's 4 consecutive Saturdays, you said, and what were the times?
Sorry, I realized I didn't say that after the fact. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay, so it's 2 hours.
So we've really broadened our reach, which is one of the nice parts of the shutdown, I suppose. So prior to this, our average attendance was about 120 to 130 at the Orchard City Banquet Hall. And last year, when we shifted to the virtual format, we ended up with about 250 unique, that meaning unduplicated clients that either joined us for one or more sessions. And we also had 4 last year. So we're following the same format as we had last year. So clearly there's some benefit to doing it this way, but we have heard from a few that miss the in-person interactions with one another, which is, a very important support that caregivers offer to each other.
And so it's okay if you had a conflict for one of the Saturdays or one of the times, you can go attend the other 3 without worrying about missing the one.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So the registration is set up where you would have to register for each session. Mm-hmm. And we understand things come up for caregivers. That's just the nature of their work. So again, the sessions will be uploaded after the conference and made available. And we will send this to all conference registered attendees so that they'll be informed. All they have to do is click and they'll be, forwarded to our website and they can watch the sessions, when time permits.
So they'll all be recorded.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that important question.
And Tina, we've been promoting this, or the mayor has in her announcements, this event, because we know how important it is to get the word out. So we have been promoting that.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And our attendance so far is very, very good, but we're finding with these virtual events, the no-show is quite high. And I think it does have to do with the clientele. Things come up last minute and, caregiving is not it's 24/7. And but offline, if in particular the new commissioners have any questions about the conference or anything else that the senior program offers, do let me know, and I'm happy to talk with you by phone, or we can, I guess, Zoom at this point, and then even invite you over to the community center. That way you can see some of our programs in action in the near future.
And the first one starts this Saturday, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tina. And quick question, just to clarify, the target audience for the conference is not just caregivers, it's anyone who potentially might be dealing with the issue at some point, advice for folks who may have to take care of their parents in the near future, that type of thing. Is that right?
I would say definitely, especially when it comes to a topic like advanced healthcare planning. that really pertains to us whether we're healthy or our loved one, has some type of condition. It's actually probably more ideal if someone plans in advance, but as life happens, obviously sometimes we react to situations because, sometimes illness, doesn't provide notice. So it's a variety, but absolutely anyone can tune in, anyone interested. And what's the beauty of having it, in different sessions is that you can pick and choose the topics you're interested in too. Whereas when we had the in-person conference, frankly, it was one day and it was kind of a half day. So it was one session after another. And, it just was a different dynamic, but that worked too, because a lot of people like interacting in person. But this gives people really more flexibility, to be honest with you, because they can pick and choose and they can watch from the comfort of their home.
Got it.
Yeah, and also ask that we get a lot of questions through chat for the speakers and for one another. We often will get a caregiver asking other caregivers, anybody, familiar with this type of service, and and we try to respond or we'll even follow up. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Got it. Great. Any other questions or comments for Tina? Okay, thank you, Tina. Excellent. So why don't we move on then to reports from staff. Margarita. You're on mute.
I just noticed that. Thank you. Famous words of the pandemic. Nice to join you virtually, and I did have the pleasure of onboarding and both Commissioners Naylor and Malcolm on Tuesday, along with Chair Kaufman. And so we went through kind of just broad overall goal and role of the commission, and how, what's hot on our plate right now, and how the various commissioners participate. So I appreciate the extra hour you gave this week to us. So thank you both, as well as our chair. Adding another event to your calendar, we have this mayor's annual State of the City address that is coming up. It's on next Friday, so the 17th, and it's in the Ainsley House Gardens. So here in the Civic Center facility in the gardens. It is an outdoor event. Regardless of vaccination status, we are asking for masks, and but we're hoping that we follow enough public health guidelines to keep everybody healthy, but provide somewhat of a return to an in-person address for the mayor. I think I've emailed all of the commissioners, but here's the invitation. It's next Friday, so it's at 10 a.m. but it'll also be live streamed on our YouTube channel. So it's just youtube.com/City of Campbell, and you can see it live stream as well as you'll find an archived recording of the address after the event on the city's YouTube channel as well. At the last Tuesday's council meeting, the city council decided to extend the outdoor parklet program, the outdoor dining parklet program that's been in the downtown area. So it was set to expire September 30th, and they decided to extend it to the end of the calendar year. For the dining, I think that there's some of the retail stores have parklets as well, but I think that's going to go away. But what will remain is the outdoor dining. So we will get to enjoy some more that type of space and activity in our our Campbell downtown restaurants for the remainder of the calendar year. In terms of transitioning back to in-person meetings, you might have seen an email from our city clerk today, Dusty Christopherson, reminding those of you who have not submitted your vaccination status forms. It was just a gentle reminder saying that we are requesting, it's kind of, and you've probably seen this in the media, like it's just more common now that a lot of, even though we're not your employer, but we are a civic facility, so we will be ascertaining the vaccination status of our commissioners, even though you're just volunteers. So if you haven't submitted that, please do so. And At this time, it's just a testing mandate. So if you are declined to state or not vaccinated, they will be asking for a COVID test prior to attending a commission meeting. But that's still being worked out. And I think we're still a couple months away from in person. So at this time, we're just trying to get the forms back. And then once we know, who's returned the form and which category you're in, then I think the city clerk or I will follow up with particular next steps in terms of if you need to submit a test prior to the meeting. Right now, we're targeting city council. Our city council is still virtual. So we're thinking city council will return in October to in-person meetings here in council chambers. And then a month later, the commissions. So at this point, our November meeting would be which is November 11th. It is a holiday. It is Veterans Day, but the city of Campbell does not close on Veterans Day. So I'm assuming we're going to keep our meeting date unless the commission decides to move it, and then we can take a vote to have a special meeting sometime, some other day in November. But at this time, if we do meet in November, especially if it's mid to late November, then there is a likelihood that we will be in person. If that again, that's a fluid timeline, and we get new information and things change all the time. But at this time, that's the goal. City council in October, commissions in November. And I think that's, I don't know if I missed anything, Diana, that you've seen in the mayor's announcements as well. But otherwise, that's my report.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. We do, the city clerk's office is looking for, they're looking for applications for the Historic Preservation Board and the Rental Increase Fact-Finding Committee. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in applying for that position, to reach out to the city clerk's office. They're also looking for I guess, applications for the Measure O Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. So I'm reading this from my phone. I copied it. And so if you know of anybody that might be interested, I think that commissioners that are currently on boards cannot apply for that role. But if you know of anybody that's interested in doing that, please reach out to them and let them know. All of that information for either of those positions can be found on the city's website or by contacting the city clerk's office.
Margarita?
Yes.
Quick
Sure.
question about vaccinations. So so I've had mine long enough that in a few months, I'll actually qualify for the booster. Does Dusty want that updated information? And
Not at this time. I think we're still trying to ascertain just the full vaccination, which is 2 weeks after your second shot or after the Johnson & Johnson shot, the Janssen shot. Yeah, so just the initial vaccination.
yeah, I submitted my form pretty much the day he sent it the first time. So I know I'm good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Great.
Any other questions?
So somewhat good news. Looks like maybe we'll be meeting in person and 2 meetings. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a fluid situation. So any other questions for Margarita on that? Okay, why don't we move then to new business, work plan review, subcommittee assignments.
So we thought we would take this opportunity, since we have 2 new commissioners, to look at our well, most importantly, I think for a while, the commission has talked about our committee's makeup and revisiting that.
Mhm.
And why I'm trying to get to the work plan within here it is. We wanted to talk about the committee makeup. And in doing so, I think it's also a good opportunity to revisit the work plan, particularly because as I was looking at it, I think, we've checked a lot of stuff off. So I thought, it'd be a good opportunity to give ourselves credit and round of applause for getting through a lot, because we do a lot. And sometimes it's, we're so used to the routine of the monthly business, and that it's easy to lose track. So as I was looking at this, I'm like, God, we, lot to be proud of, such as the social service subgrant cycle that's completed. And that was a big work plan item because of the various meetings it took to get through the various steps in the subgrant process. And that's done. What will remain for next year is that we'll report back when they give us their annual statistics, their annual, what do you call that, Diana? Their annual report, their
Yeah, it's
Performance.
their performance reports.
Yes, their performance reports. We'll share those along with whatever. It's as you remember, you gave them 2 years of funding, so we'll return saying like these reminder that this is what year 2 funding for those agencies looks like. This is what their performance report is, and if any adjustments need to be made, we can do so at that time. But it's not a new request for applications. It's not a new review of applications. It's not another round of public hearings. It's more of a just reaffirming the year 2 amounts for the grantees. So that's been completed. This group also revised the criteria and the application process for the neighborhood association grants, which were awarded. When were they were awarded not too long ago, in April, I think it was in April. So that was completed, and now we're ready for the next cycle of awards. But I do know that the criteria was a big wish list item for the commission, and that's been squared away. Campbell Cares, it continues on your work plan. It hasn't been programmed out in terms of specific actions. So we can look at specific activities or programs that you'd like to participate in or launch this coming the remainder of the calendar year or think about for next year. Explore Art is very busy. It continues. And then number 5 goes along with number 2. I probably should have put them close together because that's the application. That's the cycle that I was just talking about. How once you reviewed updated the criteria, we went through the application cycle and you've awarded the grants, and those have been those were all distributed, and I think all of them have been used, correct, Anna? Because we've received reports back, either insurance payments, or they've all submitted receipts as to how they spent the money. So that was that's been completed. But you do want to you do want to talk about next year's cycle. And number 6 is the Capture Campbell youth photo contest, which we've been discussing in the past couple of meetings about needing to establish this particular timeline for the 2021 contest. And the other 4, 7 through 10, I call them sort of, they're there because they're items within your purview, and that where there's been programming in the past, but there's no active subcommittee or active work plan, active activities tied to them. But they're there, and they're noted as hold or as needed items. And then your subcommittees are listed below. The beautification awards, they're inactive right now because of funding. We lost our funding for that. So that's an inactive subcommittee. Campbell Cares, it's just currently Commissioner Dooley. Capture Campbell, we have 1 opening. Explore Art Pilot is currently I don't want to say full. Well, it is, because we can't have more than 3. We can't have more than 3 commissioners. Same with Neighborhood Association and Street Name. Street Name is also somewhat inactive because it's an ad hoc subcommittee as street names are needed. Our current street list is developed and approved. And as you all saw a couple months ago, there's even a process for a new street name to be requested if it's outside of that approved street name list. So that committee is also inactive at this time. So right now we're really looking at the Capture Campbell and Campbell Cares as really needing members, but it may be a good time to kind of reshuffle the other subcommittees, since we have 2 new commissioners, as well as Commissioner Bracker, who joined us and after we had kind of established the subcommittee assignments, and who's looking for a subcommittee assignment as well.
Yeah, and Margarita, one note on the street name commission, Commissioner Chase, that would be an opening as well.
True. Yes.
Just FYI, if
Yes.
we're filling, subcommittees.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, definitely. We'll note this, that there's one opening. Yeah. Although this subcommittee is a bit inactive, but
Yeah.
we should fill it. Yes. Okay. So I will let the chair determine how to proceed with the discussion and the kind of filling of the subcommittees and work plan items.
Sure, Margarita, and thank you very much for outlining all this. I think it's important for the new commissioners to see how busy this commission is. And I think all of us take pride in getting things done as slow as the government wheels turn. We have accomplished a lot. So I think it's helpful to see what actually has been done, and pat yourselves on the back for doing a good job, staying engaged and really pushing forward. I know that we continue to do so. It remains a very busy commission. And that said, we need some openings filled on subcommittees. So Commissioner Brocker, Commissioner Naylor, Commissioner Malcolm, if there's something that stands out to you on these subcommittees, even the beautification awards, if you're interested in that, I think at some point we'll make a motion to reactivate that subcommittee. But if there's something in particular that interests you, please volunteer. We need all the help we can get.
I'd like to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm interested in the Capture Campbell for sure. And then I'd love to be a part of the beautification if that comes back, or that's something I.
And I'd like to throw my name out for the street name commission. I know it's not that terribly active, but just for historical significance, I suppose.
Yeah. And also, I just wanted to mention that I'm happy to, remove myself from any of the subcommittees, and just kind of consult if you guys, if anyone has questions, and doing things like that as well to make room, because I know that I'm, on a lot of the active ones as well. So if people are interested in anything in particular, I'm happy to pull back and open up that spot for another commissioner who's really interested in getting their kind of their feet wet and really kind of jumping in. So more than their feet wet, probably jumping in. And I'm obviously happy to help out one-on-one or help shepherd along kind of outside, just as a commission, help, just commission helper as opposed to an actual subcommittee member, because we do have limits on how many we can have on the subcommittees.
I'd love to be on Explore Art personally, if you don't mind jumping off of that. That would be my first choice.
Okay.
I would say this, Commissioner Yoshikawa, is it, we can only have 3 on Explore Art on each subcommittee?
Yeah.
And I know that's something that you've done a lot of work on and you're passionate about. But I will say this, Commissioner Malcolm, that is going to be a long-term program.
Okay.
We are just laying the groundwork. It's a
Great.
pilot program, and we've done a ton of work on it to date. If there's anything else right now that you're interested in, I would encourage.
Campbell Cares would be great too.
I'm sorry?
Campbell Cares would be
Campbell
great
Cares.
too. Yeah.
And if I can just make a quick comment about Campbell Cares. So before Carol left, and unfortunately Commissioner Dooley's not around to speak,
Right.
so I hope I'm not talking out of turn, but there was some offline conversation about discussing the focus of the group, and possibly either refocusing it or expanding its goals. So that's part of the potentially part of the conversation with that group. So because I have interest in that as well.
Yeah, and just for background for everybody, and I don't know how many of the commissioners were actually around when, because we kind of, with COVID, a lot of things got derailed, but we did have a kind of a focus on suicide prevention. That was the impetus of it originally. It was about suicide prevention and working. The Campbell Cares was kind of the name of it that they used for a suicide prevention type of subcommittee, doing some active involvement in different events, and then as well as having some online or some events as well, just like talks around depression and what to look for and teen suicide, a lot of different things. That was really great. And then as it kind of morphed and we had new commissioners come in, then it kind of looked at like, oh well, let's look at expanding it, and we can focus on different things, or maybe take a different focus every year. And there's a lot of things that people feel passionate about, and the Campbell Cares is a great umbrella. So it is really wide open for anybody to say like, I would really want to get an event around, or I'd really like to get some raise awareness, or whatever it is about whether it's you're an animal lover, whatever, seniors, or whatever thing you feel passionate about. That's definitely a kind of an overall umbrella that you can put that under. Just so it'd be really interesting because everyone can kind of pick their passion.
And another observation I had about Explore Art is that there's these 4 defined programs, or I don't know how you programs.
Projects.
Excuse me?
Projects.
Sidewalk chalk art, murals, gateway signs, and panels. So, and each of them are very busy, and then, projects in it, just in it by themselves. So maybe we can even, I ask you to think about, like, do you want, so for example, knowing that there's more interest in Explore Art, would any of you 3 current subcommittee members be interested in having a subcommittee of murals, for example, right? Or the gateway signs?
Maybe we could split the that subcommittee in half and just take on, split the 2 kind of main 2 of the main projects on either one, and then that would leave room for more our new commissioners to join and get involved that way, or other commissioners. And then it also helps lighten the load because it, like you said, it is a very busy subcommittee.
Commissioner Malcolm, let me ask you, what in particular on Explore Art are you passionate about or interested in? Because I think to Margarita and Marianne's point, it's a very busy subcommittee and program.
It seems it.
And so we need help, and we want your input, and we want to collaborate with the whole commission, but also need a lot of foot soldiers too on some of this stuff.
Sure. The murals in particular, I live right by the community center, so I see the big balloon mural all the time, and it just makes me so happy. Yeah. And like all the electrical box, I don't know, they're just so great. They just fill me with joy.
Right. Yeah, maybe we break out the signage, the gateway signs, because that's sizable, right? Especially once you start rolling with it. And then we can make that a standalone. These are just ideas. I'm not suggesting this is what we should do. It's just ideas that we could do. We could put the murals in one as kind of a general overarching umbrella, because there could be several different mural projects this subcommittee would like to, work towards over the next 3 to 4 years. And then maybe we kind of do like smaller projects like the, Stories for Solidarity panels that, that's a temporary outdoor exhibit in conjunction with the Campbell Historical Museum.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know if there's other commissioners that are interested in some of these these larger art projects, but if they are, then we can certainly shuffle around and figure out how to, bring them in and lighten the load.
I didn't mean to take the liberty of just creating the subcommittee, but I started trying to, like, in my mind, break it up and thinking and to kind of think about help of it, a visual of what that might look like. But and I automatically put Commissioner Fields because he has to be he has to stay on it. But I don't know, is that something that the vice chair is open to?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And Chair Kaufman, what are your thoughts on, since you're the other member of the subcommittee, what are your thoughts on, splitting it and so we can have more?
Yeah, I actually think that probably makes sense because each one of these, especially with the murals and probably the gateway signs, are large projects that are going to require a lot of effort and funding. The more the merrier in terms of assistance, right? We know how busy we've been. And so I'm open to that if everybody else is. And same thing with the gateway signs. I mean, I think it makes sense. And Commissioner Yoshikawa, it's up to you on, I know you've taken the laboring oar on sidewalk chalk art as well as the solidarity panels. I mean, if you want to break those up as well, and other commissioners, whether it's Brocker, Naylor, Malcolm, or Dooley, can assist with some of those, given the inactive nature of beautification and really street names. I think the focus ought to be on those.
I mean, I think we could break them out into 4 separate subcommittees if we want. I don't know, because of the sidewalk chalk art and the solidarity exhibit, those are 2, temporary, they come and go, right? Once they go up and then they're taken down. It's a temporary, finite period that you can work on it. Maybe those 2 could go together, and in one is something like the Explore Art programs, kind of, maybe we call it Explore Art programs. And then you have like murals, city mural is another one, and then the city gateway signs or neighborhood gateway signs, whatever you want to call it, whatever the proper name is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we ought to break it up in terms of more ongoing, continuing programs versus whether it's seasonal or one-off type art, just temporary projects.
Yeah, exactly.
What if we, it's a little bit different, but what if we combined the art projects with the existing committees that were quasi-related? So you like merge gateway signs and neighborhood association, since those were both about the neighborhood, and you could maybe Captain Campbell is like a youth contest, like make that more youth oriented and do the sidewalk art with that. Because I think we're in a state right now where a lot of those ones on paper like either have something they do annually or not too frequent. So I wonder if we couldn't like distribute the projects that way.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that as well. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm open to that.
And Commissioner Kaufman, if you're interested, I've actually got some ideas about possibly reactivating or reformatting the beautification Subcommittee. Not, so it's not so much money oriented or grant oriented, but you know, combine it with an activity and or hope maybe even possibly a volunteer group.
Yeah, it could be a, some projects, some cleanup projects and things
Right.
like that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
Commissioner Brocker, you want to be added to the subcommittee for the beautification awards?
Oh, that'd be great. Happy
Right.
to. Yeah.
And then we can also just add that beautification award, like maybe beautification awards or beautification of city and awards, or, I don't know. Beautification, leave it at that.
Yeah, just call it beautification, and
Yeah.
And one of its purposes is to award grants when it has the funds.
Mhm.
Margarita, I believe that Commissioner Naylor was interested in the beautification awards as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I've done it a lot with schools that I've worked at, trying to clean those up. So I would love.
Great.
Oh,
Perfect.
Also did a lot to get murals up in schools. So I'm up for any committee, honestly. So.
Great.
Just to
Okay,
make
so
the
we
pitch
have,
can I make the pitch for murals? Because I think that's one where we're not exploring anymore. We need to move into execution. So
Yeah.
that's one, if you want to work, I think we got stuff we could do about the fundraising and location scouting. And
For sure.
we just got our first person reaching out about a donation. So we're just getting the wheels turning here, but
Is
man,
there already someone you found to use, or?
we're not that. So this
Okay.
is just an outreach for, I don't want to steal my thunder from a
Got it.
subcommittee report.
I'm no learning. Okay.
I still want to throw out that I'm happy to let you guys put a mural on the roof of my barn.
oh, awesome. Hey, that's one thing that I always wonder why, for instance, like San Jose State, or, why there's not big, huge artwork on roofs in the flight path, I mean,
Yeah.
you see them for the planes, there's hundreds of planes taking off and landing every single day. Anyway, I like it, Chris. So the beautification looks like we have all three filled, right? Now, okay. And
Yeah.
then Campbell Cares.
Campbell
One.
Cares.
Oh.
Is there another there is there anybody who wants to join that subcommittee? Or has ideas that they'd like to, toss around?
I wouldn't mind being on that one as well. So I don't know how much I'll be able to contribute. I do have some resources to suggest or offer, but
Okay.
again, that was one that former Commissioner Hoffman and I were discussing,
Yeah.
kind of reformatting it. So
Great.
Let me ask this question of Margarita, due to the interrelatedness of a lot of these subcommittees now. When we schedule subcommittee meetings, is it possible to combine two subcommittees into one meeting?
As long as there's no more than 3 people.
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
There's not 3. Well, you can bookend them, right? So if there's 2 commissioners that are on 2 subcommittees and then one different each, you can kind of butt them up to each other if that's,
You can also think about using the existing meeting time. Or instead of meeting at 7, well, you can start at 7, but it could be like subcommittee meetings at 7 o'clock,
Mhm.
and then break, and then at 7:30 join the larger join the regular meeting.
Yeah.
Or think about using the existing 7:30 meeting time for working meetings, but then that might get challenging because of the breakout room aspect, right? Because I don't know how you can make all the breakout rooms public. But in person, it could be easy, right? Like we can break out, one committee goes to this side of chambers, Anyways, I'm just bringing that up because you can use, it doesn't have to be outside of this date and time. Right?
Yeah.
Think about using this time you already have calendared.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or you end early, you end the regular meeting early and then you go to your subcommittee, you know, whatever. Yeah, same thing, like.
Okay. Maybe it'll get simpler once we're back in person.
Okay.
Great. Any other input on new business and the subcommittee assignments?
So let's see.
Anybody else on murals?
I'm interested in it. I'm just worried. I don't know what I'm getting myself into being on
Yeah.
too many. I'm happy to be involved as much as I can, but
Yeah, and I mean, I can stay on if needed. I just wanted to make sure that there's plenty of room for those who want to, you know, to get the others involved and bring them in hot.
Okay, I'll leave you. Yoshikawa?
Or
Or-
Chair Kaufman, do you feel strongly? Do you want to, what are your thoughts? I don't want to.
Go for it if you want. I mean, I'm happy to serve on it too. I think since we've been collaborating so much with Commissioner Fields and,
Yeah.
you know.
Why don't
happy-
you go ahead? Why don't you go ahead, Chair? And
Yeah.
then, yeah. Okay.
We'll do that and then we'll, you know, like I said, we'll collaborate within the quorum rules and try to continue the momentum we have on all these.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Just out of curiosity on the gateway signs, does Public Works get involved in that?
Well, I was going to give an update when we get to it,
Oh, okay.
subcommittee reports, but yeah, we are collaborating with, or at least have started to collaborate with the community development director.
Oh, okay, good. I like the new guy.
I wanted to mention for the Gateway Neighborhood Association Subcommittee, Commissioner Dooley, I don't know if she's, with regard to her time, if she's going to have the time to participate in the Gatewood neighborhood sign part of it. The last meeting, she did say that, you know, with COVID and her line of work, she's pretty busy. And so I'm not sure if we need to keep that in mind while we're incorporating those two together and having her participate in both the Gateway and Neighborhood Association part of it.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe we can ask her at our next meeting, you know, if maybe she would want to step down from, if she feels she needs to, you know, step down from one of the subcommittees or something. And then we can always try and backfill it at that point, right?
Mhm.
Is that the only subcommittee she's on? Oh, she's on
No.
No,
Campbell
she's on
Cares.
Campbell Cares as well. And that was kind of her
Passion.
something that that was her passion, because, you know, that's kind of her line of work.
Sure.
The neighborhood association side of it, where she was a member as that for a subcommittee, I don't see that being a very busy subcommittee, but the Gateway signs will be, I believe.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So we will bring this back next month for adoption.
Yeah.
And then that way Commissioner Dooley can opine at that time. You know, on her, if she wants to continue the current subcommittee assignments.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll make a note to put this subcommittee appointments, and I don't know if you want to call it the work plan as well on the agenda,
Okay.
ongoing work plan maybe.
Yes. Okay.
Perfect. Anything else on new business on this, guys? Okay, why don't we move on to good of the game? Anything to report? I know it was a great City of Campbell Chamber boogie on the avenue.
Yeah,
Yes,
boogie-
yes.
What I did not see was the Sidewalk Art Contest taking place on Sunday or anything?
No, we just had a table, an area where people could draw with
Okay.
chalk all over. So it was kind of in front of the Orchard Valley Coffee. that, Central Avenue, that block basically. And people just, got out and drew, and it was just on Saturday only because we didn't know how much space we'd actually have by the time, we didn't know how many people would draw. So if we took up all the real estate and ran out, but it was good. I think it was just enough. And it was next to the family center. There's like a face painter and a magician. So, people who are waiting in line got a chance to, grab some chalk and draw. And I think the kids had a nice time. And Commissioner Fields and myself and Margarita manned our booth, so to speak. And it was fun.
Good. Yeah, I was looking for it.
Here's can I project quick and just show the photos?
Yeah. Oh, good. I was trying to figure out how to do it. So thank you for share your screen. Let me stop share. Okay.
Are we going to do anything for Oktoberfest? Are we going to have a table again?
But that's a good question. Why don't you join the subcommittee? No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure that out.
While you mention it, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have a table for the commission and advertise what we have going on and get community input. Oh, cool.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow.
It's awesome.
What am I not seeing? Oh, okay, there we go.
There we go.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that was at the end. That was like, so it was full by that time, by 6 o'clock.
Huh.
That's great.
And there was a lot of adults and children.
Beautiful. Looks like a smashing success.
Yeah. Really fun.
It was fun. The kids, yeah.
When I got there, Marianne's like, I've been going up to people and, offering them a chalk and, asking them if they want to draw something, especially because there's face painter and magician nearby. And so I was teasing, I had a coworker sitting with me and I was teasing him, like, I feel like the creepy lady who's just going up to children saying, would you like some chalk? Because I was just like approaching children. Would you like chalk?
I was trying to decide how to seem most approachable, like hold it up and just like, yeah. You can
it was interesting. But it was fun. But yeah, it was just Saturday. It was Saturday. We took up they offered to move us Sunday, but yeah, we didn't have enough. It's just a lot of a time ask, right? We didn't have enough volunteers for both days, but it was really fun on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah. Glad we did it.
Awesome.
And then also just for the new commissioners, this section that we call good of the game, that I just wanted to, in case you didn't know, what that meant. That's just kind of like quick updates, either something that happened in the past to give an update like we just did, or, something upcoming that you want to share, like, oh, Rotary's doing, this fundraiser, or there's a Chipino dinner, or, or the PAL League is, there's all kinds of things if you just want to bring up anything just for visibility or to share and let people know kind of events or other things that are going on in the near future.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. Anything else on good of the game?
Well, Oktoberfest is coming, right? So that's the October 16th and 17th weekend. So either head downtown or avoid it, depending on your personality and what you like. But there's lots of food booths and beer booths and kind of arts and crafts and the usual festival type thing downtown Campbell. And I believe it's 10 to 6 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday. And Sunday is always if you don't like the crowds that tend to develop later on late in the afternoon on Saturdays, then Sunday morning is a great time. You can walk down, you can see all the booths, you can grab some lunch and a beer, and it's really mellow. A lot of families, a lot of strollers, and so that's also a good time to go if you haven't figured out the peak hours for yourself in particular.
Yeah, and I was wondering, what are people's thoughts on trying to have a booth at Oktoberfest for the commission?
What would we, what would we do with the booth?
Well, we would, could advertise the programs that we have going on with, whether we have flyers or what have you. I don't know if there's room or if that's something that has been done before, but I thought walking around Boogie on the Avenue, it probably would make sense because you get so much foot traffic. People maybe don't even realize that there is a Civic Improvement Commission and that we have these programs going on, and to garner support for some of our pilot programs or projects or what have you, might be helpful to get some signatures or just people's input who live in Campbell.
Mhm.
That was my thought.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea. I have to say for myself, my anniversary is on the 16th. So I think we're out of town. It's kind of a secret thing. I don't know yet. I'll find out. It's
Not anymore.
This meeting is recorded on YouTube.
It's going live on YouTube
Yes.
right now.
So I'll be out of town. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know it, but yeah, I can't commit. Now let's just say that.
I'm around that weekend, so I'm happy to help out.
I think to Commissioner Field's point, just making sure we have if we have flyers, whatever materials you'd like to have ready, I can help photocopy and all that kind of stuff, but it would help, just get.
But we could even hand out, applications for the open commissioner positions and other commissions. I mean, it could be a City of Campbell / Civic Improvement Table.
Yeah, it could be a city of a commission, City
That's
of
what
Campbell commissions table.
That's what I was thinking is
Maybe you invite all the other commissions too and
Right.
see, put together a volunteer schedule and have, a couple from different commissions sit at the table at the same time.
Okay.
That'd be kind of fun. The one thing I do want to mention, Bill, to your point is, being able to increase visibility with people. And we're looking at wanting to communicate that primarily to residents of Campbell, but know that there are probably more people who are not residents of Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good mix, but San Jose is a huge city and it's a big draw. So there's
Absolutely.
a lot, oftentimes things are like, well, I'm not a Campbell resident. I'm not a Campbell resident,
Right.
Let me ask the city clerk. So she's starting the redistricting efforts, right? Where we have to redraw the lines of the council districts.
Yeah.
That there's a huge public outreach component. I know that I will be at the farmer's market tabling with her. So let me ask her if she's going to be at Oktoberfest. I don't even know if that's on her radar, but maybe if then that's how we can partner and have like a broader reach, I guess, or diversity of items to discuss, because redistricting, I know she really wants to get out there and promote that and have maps out for people to draw and things like that. Because we are taking if people want to draw a map, there's a computer application, but if they don't want to do that, you can just like the consultant said, he'll take a napkin drawing. You just have to kind of put lines somewhere and on streets and he'll take that. So
I submitted one.
thank you.
So yeah, in fact, the one that got used was about 95% of the one I submitted.
Yeah. So I'll ask the city clerk if she's gonna have a table, and then I can reach back out to everyone with that information. And if she hasn't, I think that's a good opportunity to partner. If she doesn't, maybe we are we gonna meet again before the?
Yes,
Yes, we'll have one more meeting, right?
on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 days before that.
But yeah, we
should
might
know
need
now.
to touch base between now and then because you'll
Yeah,
have
we'll want
to.
to plan.
I'll find out this tomorrow or Monday from the city clerk if she's gonna have a table.
Yeah. Great. We'll be in touch on that. Anything else on good of the game? Okay, let's move to subcommittee reports. Campbell Cares. Do we have
There's
anything
no
else?
report because
No
I don't
report.
think any of them are here, right? Yeah.
No.
New membership.
The new ones, yeah.
The new ones.
So.
Of something next time. Capture Campbell.
Yeah, so Capture Campbell is a youth photo contest, and thank you for joining that effort. It was sidelined during COVID. We decided not to have it, so we're looking at kind of restoring it this school year and trying to figure out what the timing looks like. So with the new members, I'd like to hold a subcommittee meeting over the next 2-3 weeks to kind of review everything and determine a timeline for our, I guess, FY22 contest. So it's a youth photo contest. Basically, anyone who goes to school in Campbell or lives in Campbell can join and enter. And there tend to be cash prizes. We do a little display of the photos at the end of the contest. They're invited to the commission meeting where the winners are announced, and the mayor usually gives them awards them, and the parents come. We do a little reception. It's kind of fun, and the kids get a kick out of it too. So that's typically what happens. It's all done online. All the submissions and the entries are all done online, and then we get a panel of judges to go through and judge all of the photos and determine who the winners are that way. In the past, it's always been local photographers. So a little information on that, and we'll be hopefully meeting this month.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. How about Neighborhood Association Assistance Grants? I know we went through it through the work.
Yeah, I did want to bring up, I know that Margarita, you said it's not, we've kind of done all the things we wanted to do as far as like creating an online application and streamlining it, and for returning applicants, making it a lot shorter. But we did have that condensed timeline due to COVID. And at the same time, we decided that we would kind of move it to a fiscal year to align with our fiscal year. So Diana, I wanted to ask you if you have received all the documentation, because I believe that we were saying that we wanted that due in August, right?
The documentation with regard to the receipts.
The receipts for all the funding. Yeah, we wanted that in August so that we could wrap it up and or was it August? Let's see.
It was probably before then, because Diana was all the communications said June 30th, that funds had to be expended by June 30th.
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to the commission on that. I have not looked at that in a while.
Okay, yeah, because
so
I know
I'll
we
have to get back to you.
Yeah, and then for the new one, which is like right now, but I have failed to to promote that front and center. But we had talked about kind of starting the new year's contest in the end of summer, early fall. So that subcommittee will also need to meet to kind of get that kicked off for this fiscal year, where hopefully we'll allow them to use the funding, maybe give them the funding by the end of the year, and then they can provide all of the receipts by June of next year, so you can close it out with the fiscal year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we will need to do that. And for the new commissioners, we have a neighborhood association assistance grant program that's funded from the city. It's a small grant, but typically it's like $2,500 or something, and it's given to neighborhood associations to use for expenses that they may have, a PO box or mailers, or even like the National Night Out parties. We have a list of eligible expenses and whatnot in the application package. So they tend to apply, and it just helps them out with some of their expenses, whether it's, insurance, things like that. So we will work on the next funding cycle right away, and you'll see more as we progress through that.
Thank you, Marianne.
Mhm.
Let's move to Explore Art. As we touched on new commissioners, this is a very busy pilot program that we're now breaking up into multiple different programs that throughout Campbell, we want to promote murals, gateway signs, solidarity panels, sidewalk art, any other ideas you might have. I mean, that's a lot to begin with, and we already have a lot on our plate, but we are certainly open to any new ideas. And obviously it's a project that all of us are pretty passionate about and feel as though it's important to lay the groundwork and the foundation to make public art potentially something that might be part of the budget in Campbell at some point, but certainly is a priority for council members, members of the community, and commissioners. So I can say from the gateway signs point of view, I spoke with Rob Eastwood, who's a community development director, and actually, surprisingly, we're not the first ones doing some of these projects. There was, he gave me essentially 3 huge, basically binders of materials. One that encompassed the East Campbell master plan from 2006. There was a community design study from the 90s where a lot of what we're trying to do was explored. Some of it was tabled, some of it did come to fruition on a small scale. And then also a gateway signs briefing book. And so we have a model for moving forward with a lot of these public art projects. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I'm happy to share those with anybody who's interested in getting a copy, because I think it'll help us moving forward to build on what's already been studied, what's already been explored, and to improve upon it. So Commissioner Fields or Commissioner Yoshikawa, I know you guys have been heavily involved in the Explore Art Subcommittee. I don't know if you have anything to report on the murals. I know we're moving from the conception stage to the execution stage, and perhaps funding as well.
I could do a quick mural update. Is that we did, thank you, Margarita, for connecting, had our first just spontaneous outreach from somebody in the community who was interested in sponsoring. So we've been having a conversation about that and had our first sponsorship form go out. Very, very exciting. So the step that we are now in is the fundraising / location selection. Margarita also offered very nicely to connect me with Public Works to talk about locations. I think the next step is, with the new commissioner, we could probably do a meeting specifically to divide and conquer some of this, because I think between the fundraising and the location scouting and figuring out things like how we're going to do the selection and judging, there's just a lot to do as we get rolling. But exciting to get the interest, and like one of the commissioners said when she joined, how exciting it is to see that one outside of Art Beat and think about how many more we could have someday if we do things right, is pretty cool. So very excited about Mural, and I will throw it to Commissioner Yoshikawa for anything else on Sidewalk Art, who masterminded our the thing I shared photos of before, and maybe talk about what we're planning for October.
Yeah, so yeah, just on the murals, I just want to say, like, all of us are like, we want Campbell to be the mural city. I mean, this is our pipe dream, right? So just, we all love it, and we want them everywhere, but we'll just have to do one at a time. But for the other 2 projects for the Explore Art Subcommittee, we have, so sorry, this is going to have to we have to give them a little bit of background, and instead of just like panels or solidarity panels, because I'm sure that they don't understand what that means. So during the last year with Black Lives Matter and a lot of the, you know, social injustice and outcries for equality and all of that, protests and things like that. City of San Jose downtown, then the storefronts had boarded up their storefronts during all of the, you know, protests and things to try and prevent any type of looting and damage, vandalism to their property. And then there was a group that went in and said, hey, you know, instead of making our city, the San Jose State student, you know, making it look sad and, you know, boarded up and really depressing and, you know, unsure, let's get a bunch of artists together and paint beautiful artwork on all of these plywood boards that were up. And so she worked with, you know, artist community and then worked with the store owners and kind of collaborated permissions to paint on their storefronts and turned the downtown San Jose area, you know, into a beautiful, like big, just kind of a live art show, right? Of all they're like, in essence, small murals. They're, you know, maybe 6 to 8 feet tall and, you know, some of them are several panels, so they could be, you know, 12, 20 feet wide. Some of them are just 3 feet wide. But they were able to save some of them and hold on to them. And so we have the ability to display them. And Carrie Perkins, who was on earlier for the museums, she has graciously offered the Campbell Historic Museum to display those. And also because they're not open to the public right now because of COVID restrictions, we thought it'd be a nice way to show the art, pay homage to the artist and the movement, show allyship, and then also just, you know, provide a beautiful outdoor art exhibit. So this would be one that is a temporary exhibit. We were hoping to get it up this month, but weren't able to pull the trigger on that. And now Carrie's husband, who was going to help build the stands for it, he's actually quite booked out through the next month and a half, 2 months. So we were wondering, putting it out to the commission, if anybody has any kind of handy skills or knows contractors who might volunteer. Maybe Commissioner Brocker might have some some tools and some know-how that he could help with. I don't know.
Got a whole barn full of equipment.
So we are looking at, you know, we were hoping that maybe Commissioner Brocker or anyone else who you know, has some skills could potentially help affix them to the buildings. And Carrie was going to talk with, gosh, who was it, Margarita?
Brian in maintenance. He was going to talk to our building maintenance, Brian Rizzo.
Yes, Brian Rizzo. And so to find out exactly how we can affix them, if we're allowed to affix them to the stucco, you know, through with some cleats or something, or if we can only, you know, what the stipulations would be. So as soon as we find that out, and I forgot to ask her earlier when she was on, but you know, if we can get some volunteers to help put them up, then we can certainly get them up sooner than November or November, December. But if we can't, then that looks like the time frame that we have the manpower. So the art panels are really cool. They're urban, you know, they have great messaging. They're actually quite beautiful. I certainly couldn't paint them. So, and we're looking at putting up, we have a selection of 8 to 10 panels. So it's a small exhibit. The Campbell Museum is quite small. And depending on how they kind of puzzle in and fit, we'll see, you know, we may have to drop a couple out depending if they fit or not. So that's the storefront. I mean, sorry, the solidarity art panels that we've talked about. And then, so we need some help with that. If anyone can provide volunteer for that, please let us know and we'll work on that, getting that up as soon as possible.
Tell Carrie to get in touch with me. And
okay.
I mean, we need to get a materials list together of what's involved, and then we can figure out manpower and or tools.
Yeah, if it's just the cleats, I mean, basically it's just blocking, right? It's just like we can use 2x6s or 2x4s and put those into the wall, and then just the panels are, they've already been drilled. I mean, we don't have to worry
But
about.
are they gonna let us drill into the building? That's the,
That's the $1 million question. And we do
Yeah.
have, there is the fence along the parking lot that we could put them up and drill those straight into the fence, just screw those into the fence or through a cleat.
okay.
And then there's also the big chalkboard at the parking lot that Carrie said has a wooden frame around it, and we could actually do that. And in fact, she was kind of liking the idea of potentially running side by side, butted up against each other all the way to the fence, because they've had some homeless issues, like people going back there and kind of creating, having homeless back there. So they thought it might be easier. It might be, that would kind of kill two birds with one stone and help with a little bit of that issue and at the same time.
I have a huge stack of vintage fence boards at the farm. So if you want to be a little artistic and vintage, we could even dig into that if you want.
Okay.
So then there's my scrap wood pile that's just specifically for repair projects and whatever else. So
Perfect. Okay, so we'll reach out to you, separately.
I even have a trailer. I can deliver everything.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Wonderful. Appreciate that. And then the Sidewalk Art Contest. So that's where we also need, sorry, it's so long. We need help and, help from the commission. The new commissioners, maybe you want to get involved in this, but we're looking at having a sidewalk art contest for residents, and we were targeting October 3rd. And basically anyone could enter and maybe just have age, 3 different age groups, like under 7, 8 to 16, and then 17 and over, or something like that. And then what we were going to call it is Silver Lining. So it's like, trying to encourage people to express, some silver linings in this whole pandemic or the past year and a half that they've experienced. But we do need some help, basically fundraising, getting some prizes donated, sending out notices, getting the judges. We wanted to invite the city council members to be on the judging panel, as well as all the other commissioners at the various commissions in the city. And then kind of determine, like, do we want the judges to see all of them? Or, are we going to break the city into quadrants or something and kind of have each one focus on a quadrant? And Diana, I know that you've had the experience with the citywide garage sale. So, would it be easy enough to create a map with all of the locations when people sign up or when they enter, if that's something that you could help us with?
Sure, yeah. I have the template for that, so we can certainly build off of that.
Yeah, that seems like there's some good synergy there. So yeah, I think that if people are interested in, if the commission is interested in volunteering, putting some laying some help to us, then we can still do that in October. But if not, we might have to push it a little bit. I'm not sure. Just because I know everyone's bandwidth is right now, we're all kind of spread thin.
It may be a good idea to, given that you need to recruit, get prizes and things like that, it may be a good idea to think about spring, right? And that gives you enough time to, I know it's pushing it a lot, but at the same time, it's also helping you with the workload, right? Kind of having enough, not rushing it, so that you get your prizes and format. And then once that's all said, it's just easy to pull the trigger and say, this is the date.
Yeah, the one thing that I caution with that, or, that I'm a little concerned with is, I think that, we could scale it too, right? Maybe we don't do prizes. Maybe we just do bragging rights. Maybe they're just awarded and we give them a lawn sign that says first place.
Absolutely.
Or winner, and that would be a lot easier, right? There's ways to kind of scale the project. It
Yeah.
depends what everyone wants to do, but I mean, I think we can swing it if we have some kind of boots on the ground, who are willing to pitch in. I think we can still do it, before the holidays, so to speak. But
Yeah.
that's my thought. Do you guys, or if everyone thinks we should just push it to spring, we can certainly do that as well. But I would like to see it, happen in the next couple months. But I'm one that is also spread, incredibly thin right now with my regular day job as well. I've been putting in a ton of hours, so.
I do like the idea of scaling it back and perhaps it not being a prize, a contest of that. Yeah, and just more of a spirit, a city spirit or a community spirit, that does sound pretty cool. Because it's just, the overhead is relatively low for that, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking if we got a few lawn signs for the winners, and that's something we could build off of and, maybe get prizes in the future. But, people who want to do sidewalk art are they probably don't even care if there's, a prize or not, really. They're just out to do it and enjoy it.
We have ribbons left over from the poster contest. We can give those out.
Yeah.
And maybe
yeah.
certificates or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And we could even invite them, award them or invite them to a commission meeting. If and when we actually are meeting in person, something like that.
Or city council meeting. The city council would love to, recognize them.
Yeah.
At a regular meeting. We could do that.
Good idea.
So
Yeah.
who is on our subcommittee now on that one?
I will find out.
Sorry, I didn't write it down. That was like the projects one, right? So
Yeah, Fields, Yoshikawa Naylor.
okay. So maybe we can get together next week and chat about that as the subcommittee, and we can figure out if we think we can do it. Is there anyone else on the commission who is interested in volunteering for any aspect of that contest, whether it's judging or helping promote or designing a sign that says winner or anything like that, content?
If somebody wants to get a banner made, you're welcome to put it up on the fence at the farm.
Okay, great.
So I mean, that's thousands of cars a day. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, that's a great idea.
actually, that's a standing offer I make to any community group, especially anybody holding an event at the community center or something in conjunction with the city.
Perfect.
Where is your farm?
464 West Campbell Avenue.
Hey, you live right by me. I'm at 343.
So if you're heading west on Campbell Avenue, like towards Kirkwood Shopping Center,
Mhm.
or away from downtown, right before a block before you get to San Tomas Expressway on the left-hand side is that little farm.
I live on Llewellyn. I would run right into your farm if I went straight.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Get your chickens.
Yep. We have been there since 1925.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And actually, I have a really good addition to Vice Chair Fields' mural report. He had mentioned the donation and sponsorship interest and actually got dropped off yesterday. And something that was very nice. So as Diana reminded me, we were processing the thank you letter and receipt. But she was so awesome and she baked you cookies, Davis.
Oh.
These are for you.
Wow.
Brought me one
awesome.
too. And I thought I was gonna take them home. I did not have the discipline to not open the, the container. So I ate like half of them and then I just shared the rest with my office mates. So my kids didn't get any, but she dropped these off as a thank you
wow.
for coming up with the idea and providing her family the opportunity to sponsor it. So
So
Aw.
we're not allowed to accept
Um,
gifts anyway, so you did the right thing, Margarita.
it's under $50. So
Oh,
I
okay,
don't-
well.
we can take it. Yeah, my coworkers did give me a hard time. They're like, "Are you reporting that?" And I said, "It's under $50. I don't have to."
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll go pick those up for Davis and drop them.
Yeah.
And this is a sticker from her company. A sign. Oh, I don't. It's a sticker, and it's her. She said they're hot off the press, and she also dropped that off with the.
Aw.
So my container is gone, but I still have my sticker. Those are
That's
good.
how you want the
You're in for a
donations to
treat.
roll in.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Yeah,
Beautiful.
so it's all right. We can report them. They're under $50. All right, so very nice, very generous and kind, and it's very nice.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot going on to keep us busy the rest of the year. So yeah, I'll certainly try to volunteer as well, Marianne.
Okay.
And new commissioners, same thing. Obviously we're all busy. We have very busy lives, day jobs, families, but anytime you can volunteer, help out over and above subcommittee commitments, obviously it's appreciated. And if you can't, that's totally fine. If you can get the word out, that's helpful too. So hopefully next month, we're not going to meet in person, but in a couple of months we will. Between now and then, we will keep pushing on all these projects. We got a lot on our plate, and congratulations to everybody on what we've accomplished so far and what we're set to accomplish.
Mhm.
So
And
thank
welcome to our new commissioners. Welcome.
you and welcome.
You.
Mhm.
All right.
And with that, it is 9:23. I will adjourn the meeting.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
one. Good
See
night.
ya.
Good night.
Good night,
See you in
everybody.
Oktoberfest.
Ah.
And Margarita, feel free to